Welcome back to Arc Mayor. This is a new series of case studies. At the moment, I've compiled about 13 cities. Let me know what you think in the comments. Take a guess. Which city do you think this is? Where do you think this is in the world? This is a concept that we get from architecture, where before you begin every project, you look at projects that are similar, and it's a good way of learning and trying to understand more about design. The challenge here is that I'm going to keep everything without labels. And the first city we're going to start with is a city that's right next to a river. It's a city with a mighty river. I'm trying very hard to not mention where this is. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. I just stumbled onto it, by the way, and I started looking through the neighborhoods. I was doing a project that was somewhere around here. It was right close to the Riverfront, and when I zoomed out, this was the first thing that I saw, and it looked absolutely amazing. This river that just came flowing through here. It was so interesting, and the number of trees here was really amazing. Look at this. Part of the reason of doing this case study is just to admire city planning and just look at how beautiful it looks. It's difficult to see these things on the ground, and that's the beauty of city skylines. You get a bird's overview of everything, and it's so nice. A lot of times when you start in the game, you just start with a block and you have one connection to the highway, and then you start building. Imagine this was your starting point in the game. As you can see here, tons and tons of residential. School zone right here, sports and parks and utilities here. How do you zone the area? The first thing you should pay attention to is transport. How do people get around? You can probably tell which country this is. So many roads. That's a big giveaway which country this is. So much parking. This major road just connects everything together. When you get out of the highway, this is the main road that you use to go to all these other neighborhoods, and also to go from one commercial zone to another commercial zone. So perhaps this is something to take note of. Along major roads is where you have commercial. I saw somebody mention that you should not put, at least in city skylines, do not put too many intersections. It looks like there's a ton of intersections. Now the thing is, are there traffic lights on all of these? There's definitely traffic lights here. This is a major road, but I think everything else, you probably just have stop signs. Like here, I think you may have stop signs on all sides, or stop signs on this road here, and the major road stays open. And this is probably a high school. There we go. School right next to the major road. All these look like businesses, small businesses. What is that? Probably a gas station, small shops here, convenience stores. I wonder what this is. It could be a church. Could be a restaurant, actually. That could be a restaurant. Residential. That is this side of the road. The highway separates it. But yeah, interesting. High school here. And this is crazy. I don't know what this is. And that's the interesting part of not putting any labels. We can't know what this is from just looking at this without any labels. This actually might be a university. I don't think a church would have soccer fields and baseball right there. I've done a lot of projects like this, lighting design. This could be an industrial zone, could be a prison, I don't know. So let's zoom out a little bit. We have been on this side of the map. So let's go a little closer to the river and see what we have. I personally find something like this a lot more beautiful for a residential neighborhood. Look at that. That looks lovely. Cul-de-sacs, put houses on all sides. Everything is not very high here until you get closer to the downtown area, and it's all very concentrated. I think perhaps because this is closer to the city center, you probably have there we go, railway station. And as you can see, it begins to become very dense here. The industrial trains, you have to leave them a way to pass. So when you are adding your train station, you have to add the train line that passes right next to it so you don't get traffic. You have to separate those. But I think that's pretty obvious. What is that S right there? That's interesting. It's probably a bike path or something. And look at the terrain. This terrain is really interesting. I've been thinking about trying to do things like this, to have some areas be a little higher, to kind of create a bit of a difference between certain spots. Like an administrative building would be higher than everything else. Like you have the courthouse, slightly higher than everything else. in the area. These were probably residential zones for this industrial area here. So let's zoom out just a little bit and get a grand scheme. So we have the downtown here. Most of this seems to be residential and small buildings, very mixed use, and then industrial. So everything is just intertwined. When playing the game, I found myself separating everything. We gotta mix it up. And lastly, the last thing that actually drew me to this city is this intersection. This is so nice. This is something I would like to recreate in the game. There's a lot more cool intersections in the other cities that I'm going to be going over. Let's keep going. Let's look at this other one. Yeah, this interstate highway connections are fascinating. This is a famous one. I believe it's called a four-leaf clover or the clover intersection. I think we need to find a way to use this inner areas, given that they're on the highway. This would be a noisy area to put anything. Look at that, new constructions. These are probably done by now, given that this map is probably beginning of last year. So these are probably done. Yeah, so don't be afraid to leave space. Don't crowd things too much. And I think everything will be peachy. Yeah, so that's it for our first city. We have 13 more to go. Leave me a comment below. Let me know which city you think this is. And yeah, thanks for watching.